All right. Good evening and welcome to this evening's joint committee meeting of Community Board 10's Youth Services, Education and Libraries Committee and Zoning and Land Use Committee. My name is Robert Oliva, a member of both committees, filling in for Youth Services, Education and Libraries Committee Chair, Stephanie Simone Mahaney. I'd also like to acknowledge Zoning and Land Use Chair Doris Cruz. Thank you for all committee members for being present this evening, and to those members of our community streaming live on YouTube. Tonight's informational meeting will provide an update on school construction authority projects currently underway in Community District 10. As a reminder, they are the former Angel Guardian property at 6301 12th Avenue, the future PS 676. The former Nathan's location, 650 86th Street, the future IS 322, 6740 3rd Avenue, the future PS 53, and the former Santander Bank property at 8808 5th Avenue. At this time, I'd like to introduce School Construction Authority Representative Steve Gonzalez, who will introduce the team making tonight's presentation. Steve, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Robert. Besides myself, the Senior Project Officer for District 20, Elias Stempolis, is here on the call as well. I'm going to share the screen, a brief PowerPoint. We'll give you updates. I believe if I can call this up. Can you see this?
Not yet.
No? Oh boy, okay. I was looking for, here it is. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, I have the capacity projects that you listed before, and I'll start with the first one. Now, I'm including PS 127 because even though it's not on your original list, it is a capacity project that we did open this past September at 922 78th Street. We are in the process of finishing up our, what we call punch list items, remaining items at this edition. It's a edition that will accommodate 364 seats. I'll go over to 6740 3rd Avenue, which is future PS 53. The occupancy date for this building is September 2024. This is a small public school for 307 seats. It is on 3rd Avenue between 68th and Senator Street. And we are in design in this project. Well, actually, for the main building, we are close to finishing up design 100%. We're close. We are going for out to bid what we call the demo package, which is the demolishing of the old doctor's office. That's going out. That is either going out to bid out to bid right now, and that'll be for a process of 6 to 8 weeks for that early demo package. The next school I have is IS it's actually IS 322. This is the former Nathan's site at 650 86th Street. Occupancy is also the same year, September 2024. We have 407. This is strictly a middle school. We have 475 seats, of which out of the 475, we will have 72 D75 seats. We have a contractor. This project has been awarded, and we are planning to mobilize sometime in early spring. We're looking at March, April timeframe. Next. This wasn't part of what you were looking for, but it is a leased building. It is a capacity building. It is the former main building of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And this is strictly a D75 school. It is leased from the Diocese of Brooklyn. It's 132 seats. We already opened up a couple of years ago, which is an annex to PS 112, the other building connected with Our Lady of Guadalupe right down the block. Next, this is the former Angel Guardian home. As you can see from this rendering, the condos in the back, that's not part of our project, but this school building will be the future 676, PS 676. I know you cited the address as 12th Avenue. That's on the other side. This will be at 6312 13th Avenue. The occupancy of this occupancy date here again is September 2024. 547 seats, of which there will be 96 D75 seats. Santander Bank, I do not have a design rendering. This project is not yet in design. We have purchased the property. We hope to begin design soon, but we have at this time have not yet begun design. And I do not have an occupancy date yet, and I don't have a seat total yet on Santander Bank. So that's pretty much an update that I have at this point. Let me add also on Angel Guardian Home before I finish. On Angel Guardian Home, we do have a contractor here. And again, we're hoping to mobilize in the near future. I don't have a date yet, but this project has been awarded and we do have a contractor. So I'm good. That concludes my presentation, and we'll take questions.
Thank you very much, Steve. We want to turn it over to the committees for questions and discussions, and Doris has her hand raised. So Doris, go ahead.
I can't hear her.
Oh, Doris, you're on mute.
What are D75 seats?
D75 seats are, huh? I'm sorry, D75.
That's my question.
Yeah, sure, no problem. D75 seats are special seats. This is a,
Okay.
these are those students with special needs. Because we did get a large request from many parents in the district for additional D75 seats. And that's why this past year in this current capital plan that we have made a push for more D75 seats, because they were definitely needed in the district. And we are answering the call and need for D75 students and their families.
Thanks for clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Ann is next.
In my professional life, I'm an architect and I do a lot of group homes. And a concept that exists in the world of group homes is saturation. So if you have a group home in X location, there is a geographic proximity limit to another group home location. Does the school construction authority have any such concept of saturation?
At this point, I don't know if I can answer that. As I mentioned before, and we reached out. We originally had planned for the 96 seats at the Angel Guardian home, but at our last CEC meeting, not this past year, but the first year of the pandemic of 2021, we did receive a loud call and request for more D75 seats. So what we did is that we looked at the middle school at 322, and we decided that we would add more D75 seats there. We also looked when we were looking in terms of leasing Our Lady of Guadalupe, we saw this as an opportunity to increase more seats. So we have decided to build that school through the DOE, a fully comprehensive D75.
Sorry, Steve, I just wanted to, I just a little confused. I'm taking notes. What are the grades at OLG for the D75 seats? Are the grades the same as what the school occupancy is going to be?
I'm not sure about that. I only know of the seating capacity.
Okay.
Yes, Steve, but I'm asking if there is a proximity limit of one school between schools.
I'm not sure about that, Ann. I'd have to find out. Elias, can do you know of such a limit? Elias, I think he's muted.
Hi, this is June Johnson. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
My question is, of all the new construction and the ages of the children going into these various schools, it seems that only 400 seats are for middle school children. And it seems in our district, our middle schools are so overcrowded, but we continuously build elementary. And I'm wondering, when are we going to start to think about our junior high school students?
Good. It's a very good question. And as I said, we looked to do, this was a concept and a request by the former superintendent who retired, Karina. And as I said, we went and designed that as per DOE request, as per Karina's request. I can go to our capital planning folks, SCA staff, and mention the fact that there is a request that was made today for more additional middle school students seating.
Have you received any other requests? I mean, it seems anyone involved in schools has to realize that they're just so overcrowded, and we just keep adding elementary.
Steve, is that data available? I know at a previous meeting, we had requested that. Is there public information and data demonstrating the number of middle schools, the population in those middle schools, and what the percentages of overcrowded or not overcrowdedness there is?
Yeah, there's data that there's capacity numbers that, I'd have to look at the other schools. And I'd have to check with capital planning. I'll check with them in the next day or two in terms of your requests, in terms of data.
Right. Yeah, I think at a future meeting, we're gonna, maybe take a closer look at that. The utilization report for this year hasn't come out yet. So I think, Steve, maybe once it does, I know the SCA puts that report together. I haven't seen the latest one yet. And maybe we could, schedule a follow-up to this meeting specifically about utilization and understanding what the needs are by category, by elementary versus middle school versus high school.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Jim.
Barbara is next.
Yes, in terms of the Santana location, that's a dreadful location. It's right across the street from the post office. People are constantly double parked. There's a bus line there. Also, it's a block away from another school. Have you taken these factors into account?
Yes, and I have to say, Barbara, unfortunately, and I've mentioned this before, and I think Ann has asked at previous meetings in terms of finding school sites, where we can find school sites. District 20 is a very, very difficult area to find seating, finding properties. So when this property came up, this is a good portion of property, taking the Santander Bank and the property. And we also purchased on 89th. We also took a row of vacant businesses, buildings there. So it not just encompasses the bank and the parking, but a number of buildings on 89th. So it's a nice chunk of property. So at this point, whenever we can find property, we do look where we can find property. And it's, as I said, it's very difficult. We have a real estate division that's constantly looking for properties. And as I said, wherever we can find property and it's a good market price, we always reach out and try to purchase that property. We have over 2,000 seats that we still have to fill in District 20. I mean, your point is well taken, but again, I realize that it's across from the post office and it's down from PSIS 104. But as I said, it's
And the school on 4th Avenue, 89th and 4th. There's a school there.
all right. No, I hear you. It's totally understood. So, but as I said, this property became available to us and we decided to pursue it.
All right, Preston.
Thank you. And as the committee member that's closest in age to a lot of these schools that are being built, I have a question regarding the IS 322, the Nathan's location. In your presentation, you said it was about 400 and something seats, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, 475 seats. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, the 4 junior high schools in or middle schools in our district are at least 1,000 students, and they're very crowded. Is there a reason why that's been restricted to that 400? Is the space concern, or is there any plans for possible expansion of that school? Is it, middle school age, has more seats required?
Well, it's also a space concern. I mean, it is a very tight property, as you can see. And that's why it was in terms of restriction of seats there. I mean, we have to, as I said, we have to use the whole entire property. We also have basketball courts in the back. We have in the back on the side of the building. So as I said, it's a very constricted area. So we're using every portion of that property for this middle school.
Thank you.
Thank you. Doris, back to you.
Yeah, hi. In all of our discussions of these schools, because of locations, because there is no perfect place for school in today's
You're
world.
right, Doris. I can't say it any better. You're right.
Right. And no question, but the most concerns were really about traffic and safety concerns for the students. When, as the designs move forward, when we would like the SCA and the DOT School Safety Division to come to us with planning for safety concerns at all of these schools. So I just want that on the radar. We want it as soon as possible.
So what are you looking for, Doris? Repeat that again. You're looking for.
If you look back at all the discussions at these school sites, there was concern about traffic and safety for the students. And we would like to see consultation with the school, what's the name of the division? DOT?
DOT, yes.
AT&T school safety, right?
Right.
They typically come in
We
once.
would like to see discussion with them as soon as possible.
All right. So in terms of safety concerns, I can address it. For instance, on Nathan's, we are not having bus drop-offs on 86th. We recognize that is a traffic issue. It's a very heavily traveled street. So we're moving, the drop-offs off on 7th Avenue. As per Angel Guardian Home, we are looking to do the drop-offs, pickups over in front of the building on 13th Avenue, because 63rd and 64th Streets are very narrow, one-way streets. Plus, to my recollection, on 64th is the entrance for the D75 students. So, that would not be a ideal place to have a drop-off for all those grades in that building.
Well, thank you, but drop-offs are a small percentage of students attending school. We're concerned about kids walking to school, walking at 67th Street and 3rd Avenue, where there are 3 bus stops, an entrance of the highway to the Gowanus, major speeding. 86th Street has major speeding issues, and the Santander Bank site is a narrow area. And as Barbara Gurmack pointed out, a heavily congested area. So yes, the drop-off and pickups are concerned, but most kids walk to school. And we want our kids walking to school to be as safe as possible.
Agreed. Agreed, Doris.
So we want an update on that as soon as possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Doris. Ann?
Yes, following up with what Doris is saying, I think what we're asking for, and correct me if this is not what you mean, Doris, is that we would like some input and opportunity to review the projects in the preliminary design phase with respect to these points.
Yes.
Would like to be able to see the preliminary design phase.
All right, I will, again, as I said, we have not begun this, we haven't begun the design on Santander Bank. I will make mention of that to our staff.
Right, but the HIP building location and the one on 63rd Street and 15th perhaps might be coming ready for preliminary design review soon. And I don't want to, I want to ask you to please remember my question about saturation. If it's not tonight, that's fine, but I would like to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay, all right. Very nice, I'd make note of it.
Thank you. Dean?
Yeah, this is just for the committee in general. Maybe we should have a meeting with the local precinct, because we have a number of schools coming online, within a couple of years, and we're probably going to need school crossing guards, which would mean an increase in the budget for school crossing guards, and also to coordinate with DOT, because this is not, why should we wait till the school is opening? We know they're coming. We know there's safety concerns. So maybe we should bring the police department into this conversation.
Good point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Ann, is your hand up again? All right. Are there any other comments?
Robert, I see a question in the chat from Lori. Is the OLG site in design yet?
Our Lady of Guadalupe? Yes,
LA de Guadalupe. It's in design?
yes, it is.
So Robert, maybe if any of the attendees have any questions, they could raise their hands at this point since the committee members have asked. I don't know, Laura, if you had a follow-up.
Yes, I do. My basic question is, if it's in design, how is it in design and we don't know the grades yet?
Which one are we talking about? Hi, Lori. Which one is this? Our Lady of Guadalupe?
OLG, if it's in design, we have to know if it's going to be a K-5 or a K-8 or a 6 to 8 because design.
I believe it's K-5.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Lori.
Yes, I have one more question. Steve, do you know when the new utilization report will be out?
No, I do not. I have to find that out. I
Okay.
don't know.
Thank you.
I will check tomorrow.
Okay, great. Okay,
All right.
I don't
So-
see any more questions. Just see.
Josephine, do we motion to adjourn, or do we just bring the meeting to an end?
We typically have a motion to adjourn if there's no other questions or business, if a board member wants to make a motion. I see lots of hands.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Dieter.
Motion to adjourn.
All right,
Second?
great. All right, all in favor? I see everyone up. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Doris. All right, everyone, have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.